So something slightly different today. It's early morning and I'm on my way to an apartment that I look after for a friend of mine. At the moment it's between tenants and apparently there's a really small job that needs doing but's really important to the person that's just about to move in. So I've got to get there, get it done today and get out. As I said, it's nice and early and the only thing I can think about is breakfast. Set in 16 acres of Essex countryside, this ex-family residence has been converted into just over 70 apartments based in 3 wings, one of which I look after for a friend of mine and do some work on it between tenants. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. So today's little project is to get rid of all these pipes. When I say get rid of them, I mean basically box them in, because the tenant that's just about to move in is happy with the apartment except for these pipes. Now, a couple of years ago, the boiler that's in this cupboard above was changed from the airing cupboard and it came in here. So a couple of years ago, a plumber put this boiler in, put all the pipes in, and then essentially left it. So now's the time to do something about these pipes. But it's not quite that straightforward, because we've got a double socket there and a couple of fused switches, one of which is for the dishwasher, another one is for something else in the kitchen, that I can't really, especially these fused switches, I can't cover because they're there for a reason. If you need to turn them off, you need to be able to get to them. The socket I can cover, and all of these pipes are sort of spread out, which doesn't make life very easy at all. So this is incoming water, which obviously I can't move. In fact, I can't move any of these other than this semi-flexible outlet pipe. This is all the central heating, and there's a couple of cables there for the Nest controller as well. So really, I want to box them in right up to this pipe here, but there's also a double socket. So what I'm thinking at the moment is to bring the box out up to here, but do it in such a way that if anyone wants to plug these in, it's fairly easy to then bring out the cables and use sort of this area for a toaster or what have you, and still be able to use this socket, although it's going to be behind some sort of box out. And I'm thinking about something very straightforward, coming out maybe 100mm, 4 inches, and then just returning to this wall, just to get rid of all of those pipes, but still be in a position to be able to use this socket. So the next question is, what type of material am I going to use to box this in? Now, I don't really want to go down the route of using any type of timber, anything that I have to paint or stain. It's going to look a little bit rubbish. So naturally, something like melamine comes to mind. And initially I was thinking maybe white, but looking at the kitchen, I think white's going to stand out a little bit too much. So I'm going to have a look at the black, because this is obviously a black granite type marble work surface. So it might match that depending on the type of black that they've got. And if they've got something maybe 450 wide, a small sheet, then that would work out just right. But obviously I haven't got any of this material yet. So the first thing I need to do is go and buy some. I always try to buy any materials I need well before the work starts, because stopping work and going to even a local DIY shop can eat into your available time. But today that just isn't possible, as I needed to see the job before I come out and buy the material. As well as the melamine, I also picked up some hardware as well. So I'm back from my little shopping trip with some connectors and some plastic things and a piece of melamine. And you may notice that it's not black. Yeah, it seems impossible to buy black melamine in DIY shops. I went to 2 of them and all they had was oak, grey or white. So white it had to be. Having said that, it is the right height, so I don't even have to cut it for height. I just have to cut it into 2 parts and make like an L shape and then connect it in there. Now to stop it moving around, I do need to sort of connect it and actually fix it in position, but I don't really want to damage any of these tiles or the wall, because in the future this might be taken out and I don't want to put any fixings in the wall. So I've been thinking that maybe I can use some of these magnetic connectors. These are the ones with a magnet on one side and a plate on the other that just connect together. I remember my dad using these maybe 40, 50 years ago. So these have been around forever and I don't think I've ever bought one. And what I'm thinking is the magnetic bit actually hot gluing that to a tile, and then the plate can go on the back of the melamine and connect to it. And that's going to be enough to stop it sliding around the work surface. But also if you want to get to that socket or to the pipes or do anything with the boiler, a quick pull should be able to pull that off. And I know from experience that hot glue, although it sticks quite well, it does come off fairly cleanly. So if I can hot glue these to the tile and in the future someone wants to get rid of them, just with a chisel or something, just being careful, I think they'll be able to get that off without damaging the tile. So that's the plan anyway. So all I need to do is to cut this into 2 bits. So I'll end up with an L shape, one coming out and one going back. And for that, I don't really want to get this apartment dirty, else all I'll do is end up having to clean it up again. I think I need to do that cutting in the garage. All of the apartments here come with a garage, which is handy for storage when you're living in an apartment, but also handy to do some more messy work like this. And it gives me a chance to use my new workmate, which I never thought I'd ever buy again, but I picked it up in a sale recently for an incredibly low price. And while I'm unpacking my tools, I'm also really hoping that I've brought everything I need. If I'm not careful, I'm going to end up cutting straight through my new workmate. That is about as shallow as I can get it, maybe 1.5 millimeters. I'm trying to get a good quality cut on this melamine by firstly cutting a very shallow trench before then cutting all the way through. However, you'll see in a minute why all of this was a bit of a waste of time. That's not too bad. Not brilliant, but not too bad. Now, all the way through, I think. That's pretty well chipped that. The front face isn't too bad. Okay, I can live with that. And in the other direction, all I need is 100 off the end. There's nothing like working in a really cold garage that's got absolutely no facilities at all, no tools, no nothing, and one 40-watt light bulb. Right, 100mm off of this. And that is all I need. Okay, so these are my 2 bits of melamine. One for the main face and one that's going to be sitting right close to that switch and actually boxing half of the switch in, but you know, let's never mind about that. And of course the wall here is not dead smooth because of these little tiles, so that goes in and out. Should I try to scribe that? Maybe a little bit. And the other thing I've got here on this smaller piece, so I've got a vent here that's actually sticking up 1 or 2 millimeters that needs to be sorted out. and then I need to scribe around this light switch so it sits, come on, it sits back flush on the tiles, but then the tiles won't be flush either because I've got a 1/4 inch gap at the moment, so I need to scribe around here. And although it will actually mask half of that switch, when you want to, you'll be able to just pull it away anyway. So it's not a perfect solution by any means, but I think it's going to have to do. So the first thing I need to do is scribe for this bottom. Then when it's sitting flush on the floor, then I can do the switch. Now, is it worth scribing for this? Because these tiles are in and out. I think what might be better is just a bead of silicone. But do you think I've got a bead of silicone? Nope, I didn't pack that in the car. Maybe I can do something there. These tiles go in and out like there's no tomorrow. I'm not sure if the jigsaw is going to make any better work of that, or I'll end up with just a really ragged cut. Especially as I have to use it on this side because that's where it's marked. Yet the best side of the cut will be on the opposite side. So I also haven't got any dividers or compass or anything to do this with. This is, I don't have to use the force, I think. I scribe the best I can using a finger as a spacer because I have nothing else. And this is where any hope of getting a good cut really goes out the window because I now need to use a jigsaw on the melamine. So that's all the cutting over, which is good because it's really cold in the garage there. I need to fit these magnetic clips. So I've got the plate that I'm going to put on the melamine, and then the clip, once the plate is fixed, I'm just going to offer up to the plate, then put hot glue in, offer up, push it against the wall, and it should be exactly in the right position. So let's see if that works. The other thing I've just realised as well is although I brought my drill and a battery, I haven't got a drill bit small enough for these little diddly screws, but from experience I should be able to force them in even without a pilot hole, if I, yeah, as long as they don't pop out. So if that goes on there like that, then that can get glued to the wall. So with the magnets on, there's two ways of doing this. And the first way you would expect is to create this L shape first of all, and then glue the magnets to the wall. But what I'm worried about is that they could be too far in or too far out. I really want this parallel to the back wall. So before I clamp or fix this to the end of the main piece, I'm actually going to use it as a spacer pretty close to the wall to make sure that this end, the left-hand end, is the same distance away from the back wall as the right-hand end. I set everything up and do a bit of a trial run because I know as soon as this hot glue leaves the gun, it's going to start cooling, and especially when it hits the cold tiles on the wall. I fit the plates onto the second side before I connect the two sides together, just to make it easy for myself, and then use the plastic blocks I bought at the shop to connect the two together. Looking at the very ragged edge left by the jigsaw, I think I have no choice but to come back tomorrow to run a bead of white silicone around the perimeter to hide it, as I really don't like the finish of this edge at the moment. So with all the magnets now stuck onto the tiles, then the rest of it just gets clipped on and it can be taken off whenever you want. Very nice. And that is working a treat, which means time to get home. So there you go, a really, really small job, but it's important for someone, and I think that's probably good enough. I hope you enjoyed this video, although it is something a little bit different. Remember, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I will see you next time. Oops. Oh well, never mind. Hey.